So although something is burning in the room and we are still trying to figure out where this is coming from, the smell at least, we will give it a go with the quality side to the design side. And I should warn you at this point, those are kind of competing concepts or complementary concepts potentially, depending on what industry you're in. So there are some industries that are very design pro, there are some industries that are very standardized or that really like quality. Yeah. So and you will come probably in your lifetime as a project manager, or if you go on in like any industrial front end of production life cycles industry, you will find that you will have consistently to do with either probably. Yeah. So what is quality in project management? Now quality arrives at a similar difficulty. We have actually, depending on the eye of the beholder, a lot of definitions. This is not for you to read. I give you a few examples. So the business meanings of quality have developed over time. Various interpretations are given. And I've really used here kind of the big ones that are renowned for it. American Society of Quality. That is for you to read because it's very old later. Yeah. More recently, we had something like quality combines people power and process power, so it overlaps already with design. Yeah. Then you have kind of Philip Crosby more recently, conformance of requirements. And the requirements may not fully represent customer expectation. Crosby treats this as a separate problem. Yeah, so you can see why design came actually back into our arena of project management with Crosby's argument there. Yeah? So he kind of separated the customer and said, like, what does the customer know about design? Let's get that right up front. Yeah? So then we have Deming. The efficient production of the quality that the market expects. So it plays again with the assumption that there is already a preconception. Yeah? And he liked quality and management. Costs go down and the productivity goes up as improvement of quality is accomplished by better management of design, engineering, testing, and by improvement processes. So that goes already in the right direction. Duca was kind of one of the big authors, or he has at least a lot of citations. He kind of claimed quality in a product or service is not what the supplier puts in, it is what the customer gets out and is willing to pay for. So this is already now going into the customer interface. And here we would probably have difficulties to differentiate between design and quality itself. Then the ISO 9000, many of you will have to fight with this at some point. Yeah. They define quality as a degree to which a set of inherent characteristics fulfills requirements. So they have left it very open. They define actually requirements as a need or expectations. So this is again very flowery. Yeah. Again, this is up for you then in the company to quantify. And the ISO 9000 family standards is really about process, right? Documenting and like reporting and showing that you're actually complicit with at some point authored quality criteria, right? So then we have more recent ones. Here we are kind of abandoning the whole quality ship already. It's fitness for use. Yeah? This doesn't even mean fitness for lifetime. Yeah? This is fitness for use, and this is defined. So fitness is defined by the customer as well. So if they throw their product away after 3 years, then there's no problem that it falls apart after 3 years. This came as well with value engineering, new products and things like that, where we removed durable products or materials against kind of products that hold the lifespan and are maybe cheaper, yeah, or easier to work with. Now we have as well Noriaki Kano, and others. They kind of had a little bit more refined one. So two-dimensional model of quality. So they have a positive statement and negative. So must be quality and attractive quality. So one is kind of the bottom line, and one is a roof. Yeah. So what is desirable? The former is near to the fitness for use, and the latter is the customer, what customer desire. Yeah? So and here again, products and services that meet or exceed customer expectations. So they were already onto something, and it goes on. The results of care, Then Six Sigma, quite interesting. So this is again an improvement mechanism, if you want, yeah, or theorem. Number of defects per million opportunities. So here we are already talking about quantification. This goes hand in hand with wonderful things like lean. But it's actually a negative one. Yeah? So you're trying to optimize here. So this is again built for beyond lifetimes. And then Genshin Taguchi, he had two definitions: uniformity around the target value, and then the idea is to lower the standard deviation in outcomes and to keep the range of outcomes to a certain number of standard deviations. So consistency, in other words, yeah. So the loss a product imposes on society after it is shipped. So this is sustainability again, yeah? Did you recognize this? And this is what he saw as quality. Yeah, and again, production oriented. Then we had value to some person. So this could be as well the recognition. Again, if you paint a beautiful picture and your partner or your mom buys it, there you have a closed market loop. You have production and customer. Yeah. So this is still a chestnut that we are leading towards. Actually, I have as well more probably in another slide. Yeah. But those were just a few to kind of show you the interaction between quality. Now, when we come to quality management, particularly in the project. Here I've gone with the APM 2012 definition. It's a little bit a different game. So project quality management is a discipline that is applied to ensure that both the outputs of the project and the processes by which the outputs are delivered meet the required needs of the stakeholders. So you see there an overlap. It's very pragmatic. Yeah, we are not going into the lean side on this one. Quality is broadly defined as a fit for purpose. We had that already. And conformance to the outputs or processes. So again, it's a quality management here. It's not so much about formulating quality criteria in APM, although you may have to do this with design. But they are emphasizing you are just basically controlling what exists. And that is compliance or conformance, whatever you want to call it. Now notice, I have written here the other ones in italic. If you work in any kind of design engineering or you work in a design team, you won't get around it. If you have a new product or you work on an innovation, you have to kind of think about quality initiation, and you have to even maybe start defining what quality actually is. This is authoring what may be expected or what may be required for health, what may be desirable. So you may actually author those. Be aware, in most of the project management literature, those are absent. So the quality initiation may be absent. The traditional models are quality planning. So we plan the quality criteria that we know of. Then quality assurance and quality control. And there should be as well quality closure. Again, in project management, we have thrown that overboard. Yeah? So if you're in a design team, you're very likely to have to go back and see if the quality has actually met, if it can be handed over, and if the criteria in the first place were the right criteria. Yeah, so if you do something beautiful like the spacesuit for the space dive that we saw with Red Bull, then you will have those additionally, right? Because you're setting here as well the standards. Yeah. And last but not least, so in project management, we jump straight away from assurance and quality control to continuous improvement, maybe asking for new quality criteria. But again, this is, I show you actually how it breaks down. So quality management in the APM idea is founded on the requirements for quality expressed in measurable terms as acceptable criteria. It should really be smarter again, but here they have used this type of, so that smarter is an issue for some of the companies when you come to that, yeah. But again, it should be smarter, yeah. Then you have the quality planning, prepares to achieve quality requirements and allows PMs to manage trade-offs between scope, time, cost, quality. So you may come, when the quality criteria arrive, you may work with a client to do something better or to see if they really need certain quality requirements. Yeah? Then the quality assurance part, this is actually often what you will be measured on as well, so provides confidence to stakeholders that quality will be achieved. There may be different test points or gates where you actually review if you are still hitting the quality that is required. It involves consistent use of procedures and standards with support from independent review and quality audit, and acts as a source for lessons learned and continuous improvement. So yeah, basically you will see in most contracts this is an external party, or if it's not an external party, it will be probably a different unit of your company that at least is employed here to actually give an independent evaluation of the quality, how it's being achieved. Yeah? And of course, there's a simple reason behind that. You want not that people fall into an optimism bias, or as well the other biases that potentially bind us to seeing that we have achieved something that we may have not. Last one is quality control. Here you have inspection, testing, measurement, verifies the quality. In some cases, you have actually full procedures with it. Yeah, so there are standards that embrace it, particularly on the material side or durability side, or if you provide anything for public use, there may be institutions that actually test for that. Yeah, and that is really that project deliverables are to be to the specifications, fit for purpose, and meet expectations. Yeah. Yeah, and as you can see, we have lost the tool that I was kind of highlighting here before. Yeah. So quality success, well, it comes really at organizational quality in projects. So the drivers for having quality success may sit in unsuspected notions of the organization. The biggest failure of quality and quality implementation or trying to perform against quality criteria is really down to top management or sales potentially not really buying into the service or using the quality as a negotiation tool. Yeah, and once we start looking at should I go the controversial route? NGO projects, then or as well, I suppose World Bank, IMF projects are there as well, straight there. This is often where the trade-offs are being made, very sadly and boringly. Yeah, but this is often where it comes from. So there wasn't commitment in the first place to the quality. Often at the project level and operations, quality is something that is very good. Yeah, it's something that you can work towards. But there are often as well resource implications and consistency implications. So you need top management commitment, sales and operations planning, and forerun time if there are certain requirements. So if you're working with test facilities where you have to book a slot that takes 6 months and your customer wants it in 5, well then this is the easy thing to cut, right? So it's quite bad, but it shouldn't happen, and all I'm saying it does happen at the moment. Yeah. So a single set of numbers and planning. Yeah, this is my other favorite. This is how the Eurofighter had its first start as a plane, more like a trajectory of the brick. Yeah, so, but again, yeah. So single set of numbers and units. Yeah, particularly if you work in international engineering teams. Make sure that they write the new units down, and that's why no smileys behind numbers. So this gets all very interesting. And skills of using relevant tools and techniques, or if you don't have them, train or buy them in. Yeah? There are many ways, but it's often not considered or planned for. So this is part of actually planning for quality, yeah? And consistency, of course. Performance management as well, due diligence, verify. Yeah, so I give you something, I say like, hey, this is great, I tested it, it's working, yeah, then you should test it as well. Like, oh yeah, thank you, I buy it from you, let me test it, yeah, okay, this looks good. And then when you have tested it, that was a very visual impression here. Yeah, but this is, in other words, what we often do. Yeah, so liability often runs over. Yeah, they say, no, you had a good product, yeah, and yeah, if you then can't show that they had a mistake, then you're in trouble. And then KM stands here for knowledge management, if you can. Yeah, this is of course super. If you really understand what they're actually bringing to the table, if you can make sense as well how it's functionally relating to what you need it for. This is easier written than done, but this is what we are aspiring for. Teamwork culture as well, yeah, openness, happiness to kind of share and being critical of what has been done, and as well a notion of self-assessment. Have we actually achieved the quality consistently, or do I have a small glitch? Have I missed something repeatedly and actually systematically built in a mistake, something like that, yeah? So quality is a consistent conformance to customer expectations. This is kind of what it comes to here. With quality success, it can be as well enhanced by using a number of tools and techniques. So here we have simple risk management, modeling and testing. We had as well the piloting, right? Those are all mechanisms that you're familiar with. Configuration management, a very big one. Yeah, this is really mapping out how the different subsystems or parts actually sit together. I have as well kind of mapped it. Configuration management comes with a mega project. Okay, so here's an overview if you want. So configuration management has to be as well kind of planned. So this is looking at how you have taken the design of your product, which may become one product, apart, and where the systematic interfaces are. Yeah, where the update from one matters to the next one. So the building, it's as simple. The designer has changed the shape from squared windows to round windows, but we have ordered squared windows. This is a dilemma that every baby comes to terms pretty much after birth. Yeah? It doesn't fit that easily, yeah? But basically it's simple things like that. So configurations, that the systems actually fit together and have a functional performance. Yeah? I've already talked to you about buildings, so buildings is actually not that impressive at the moment. We don't yet talk about building performance in terms of physical performance very often. More interesting is like systematic implication when you build something like a plane or more technology enhanced, then configuration management is extremely powerful. But already in the house it is. Yeah? So just to talk you through, but we refined that. So first of all, configuration management planning. You want to implement it, and then you want to identify where system relevant parts come together. This is actually very difficult. It's easier said than done. You need to speak to the companies what they need in terms of specs and things like that. So this comes actually from your kind of team, your extended team and your supply chain. Then you have the configuration control. This is you map it out where the system relevant parts are, and you check which version are you working on. Is this the specs that we had, or is something changed? And then configuration status accounting. There are wonderful visualization tools. Mary McKinley may show you this in 2 weeks. She worked on a big ship up in, that was built in Glasgow, and she has wonderful visualization of the tools that they actually use. So it gives you a status where the system relevant parts actually are, and it can be as simple as an ample system. Yeah? So red, we haven't yet, with yellow was we haven't yet started, red not aligned, green aligned. Yeah? And then it depends how fine you want to do it. Be careful, it's a kind of hierarchy system, so there's a logic behind it, there's like an algorithm. So if a paint is wrong, it may still show red, but it may be already nearly system aligned, so you have to use it with care. Yeah. So and then of course run configuration audits that the systems are actually implemented as what is written on it. Yeah, and that is kind of configuration management, if you want, in a nutshell. But again, we have a closer look what that actually means with examples. Another hot topic, particularly if you go into any manufacturing, engineering industries, or as well design industries, really, as a matter of fact, you will come across total quality management. My colleague always wrote, total quality management is bad, long live the user. And this is of course partly true, but we still have it a lot. Yeah? So be aware in supply chains and in manufacturing, this is a strong concept. So total quality management is strategic and integrated management systems for customer satisfaction that guides all employees in every aspect of the work. This has been a little bit overdone with manuals and things like that, but doesn't have to go that route. So here total quality is linked to continuous improvement. It has to be, it has not been a particular success in projects because of the discontinuations. So it tends to be a company-wide issue anyway. So it's yeah, in a nutshell, my colleague had their point. So in many projects, we don't actually embrace it. It's more in manufacturing. So if your projects are run as part of programs, then this makes a lot of sense. Otherwise, there have been many issues and shortcuts pretty much on the total quality aspects. Yeah? However, the using blocks as well from total quality management are actually worthwhile studying. So actually, we have done it already with Lean, and we have as well in resource management. We have a look actually of the tools that they bring to the table. Yeah. So quality project management. What is quality? Yeah, let's consider this in a short example. Are you happy? Is quality? This gives you again too much insight about my childhood travel arrangements. As a child, we traveled with I traveled with my mom. She is academic a lot to Istanbul, yeah, and then we often went afterwards for a long weekend as well, holiday like nearby places. And I noticed there repeatedly that I finally, as a 6-year-old, was as well allowed to wear a very prestigious-looking watch. And for me, this was high quality. But the big question for you now is, a copied watch with flaking gold and good time, actually, the time worked, yeah, is it quality? Or is it a gold Tissot? This is really just a random example. This is really down to what my copy was indicating it was. Yeah, it wasn't it. But so what is quality here? What do you think? Is it quality, this watch, the copy watch? No. Telling me I have a wonderful gold Tissot. This is just a brand, yeah. But is this quality? No. But why not? I think it went at a rate of €2 or something like that. Sorry, this was D-Mark, probably 4 D-Marks, highest. There was a little bit negotiation. We started at 20, but then willingly arrived at mutual agreement of, I think, 4 D-Marks or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So for me as a child, this was absolute quality. Yeah, I felt like a king with it. Again, if you then compare that to any authentic personnel that has bought the original piece and appreciates the craft work of it.
But both invested a month's salary.
Yeah. I didn't even have a salary. This is worse. 0 times something, there's a whole infinite, yeah, no, okay. But you have a point, yeah. So the proportion is maybe important, yeah. So what does it depend on in a way? So here we had already proportion, right? You said as part of the salary, and we had a personal observation. Yeah, to me, I felt like a king with it. Yeah, but
individual satisfaction.
Yeah, individual satisfaction. Yeah. Well, what about other people that walked past me? So in Turkey, everybody was like, he has a fake watch. Yeah. So, but then coming back to my grandparents in St. Moritz, what do you think? Like, oh my gosh, they gave the child this watch. How can you? Oh my gosh. Yeah, so people panicking initially, mostly, yeah, and outrage. Do you have no understanding of proportion? Yeah, so something like that. Yeah, but and then it's very embarrassing. It's fake. It comes from Turkey. Yeah, so this is not a good argument. And yeah, but you see the dilemma. Yeah, so there's it says it here. Yeah, it's a copy. Yeah, it's something negative in this mindset. Yeah. So what does the customer want? Of course, this is important. So let's play that example. I don't have the example. So, but the example comes later. So typical customer quality expectations, particularly in manufacturing, just to show you what we come with, and those are design features. Yeah, this is what we're designing for. Is performance. So a product's primary operations characteristics. Yeah, then you have the features. The bells and whistles of a product. Yeah? So this can be so much so that later this is seen as a design obsolescence. Yeah? Do you know products like that? Yeah, so you know what comes to mind?
The light bulb.
The light? Why? What's wrong with the light bulb?
Design obsolescence, so that they will only last a certain amount.
Oh yeah, this is old the conspiracy, right, from Philips. I knew it. Finally, we get them back. Osram was still the good one, yeah. If you had Osram, yeah, it would last. But Philips, yeah.
They actually had like laboratories where they tested the bulbs. Like they should only like work like 10,000 hours, and then they said like it's not going to work like that anymore, and they get a huge fine. But still, the light bulbs afterwards were still only doing 10,000 hours.
Yeah. So you could outwit them. Japan has actually their own kind of light bulb manufacturer, and they use a different gas, with the same materials. It just lasts forever, unless you kind of take it apart manually, right? So in an act of violence. Yeah, but otherwise, good example. Yeah. So there were already kind of actually industry clusters that recognize the potential issue with this. But I was thinking here, what were kind of now bells and whistles? Quick question: who has a bike? Does anybody cycle? Oh, is this so? Is it okay? We had one. It's not just me. So, quick question: does your bike have a bell?
Don't think so,
No. No, nobody has a bell anymore. It's not really handy. In the past, there was a romantic idea. You would somewhere cycle on the pavement across, I don't know, some boulevard, where occasionally somebody would stand in the way and you would just ring to make them aware that you're here. This doesn't work in the traffic here. Yeah, you can ring twice, but if there's a window down, you will be shouted at probably. Yeah, because they will certainly not welcome that. Yeah, so it's not a functional tool anymore. For a lot of cyclists, yeah, and that is as well kind of the point. So we have often old designs that were functional at the time, but they are not contextually functional anymore. Yeah. Are there examples? Does anybody else know? Apple, yeah, the newest mobile. What have they done? Does anybody know? That you can't plug your earplugs into the phone anymore. Yeah, this is already the recognition that we used it as a music device. Yeah, so the MP3 player, or before the Walkman, or if you were really hip, you had the CD player, the wearable one. Maybe not that hip, but anyway, the old idea was you had a cable that went to your ears. Yeah, and of course this has gone. Yeah, they play now with Bluetooth. The technology we had already for quite some time, right? So this wasn't really difficult. Yeah. Okay. Now we designed as well for reliability, the probability of a product surviving over its life cycle and understated conditions to use. So notice there's already a change. In the past, we just designed for the system to work. We didn't yet know for how long. Yeah? So automotive, all cars have wonderful parts that will probably survive for a very long time. Then conformance. The degree to which physical and performance characteristics of a product match pre-estimated standards. This can be as well requirements for health and things like that. Durability itself, the amount of use one gets from a product before it physically deteriorates or until replacement is preferable. So this was the light bulb example, very, very good. Serviceability, the ability to repair a product quickly and easy. And this has gone a little bit with our kind of fashion product design, right? So with our current lifestyle, we actually don't look at that anymore. Yeah, if it's just one plastic box and it's all melted or welded together, then or molded together, then you will see that it's probably not meant to be serviced. Yeah. And aesthetics as well, how a product looks, feels, sounds, tastes, or smells. So this is really directly to our sensual interface with the surface of the product. And then perceived quality. Here you have subjective assessment resulting from image, advertising, or brand name. Yeah, or if you're particular fond of any of those, then maybe as well you're buying on that behalf too. Yeah. Okay, but there's a big but, and that was different customers required different things of the same product. So yeah, we could do the joke now about the mobile phone, what you use your mobile for, but I thought we take something else. So what is the quality for a pizza? So what is it for you? I have here a few that I suggest up front. So I have here tastes good, is huge. It's hot, arrives on time, is as good as it was last time, easy to share. What is it for you?
Tastes good. Tastes good.
Oh, okay, so you subscribe to my taste good? Yeah, very good. Yeah. Other ones?
Yeah, just tastes good.
Okay, so tastes good. That's it. Okay. So yeah, so this is a key point, right? So it's not all for all, right? This is, but it's huge, right? So it fills one up as well.
If you want huge pizza, then you order huge pizza.
Okay. Oh, I see. So you're already okay. You're not happy with the size. I understand. Okay. So that's maybe already one factor. Other people same feeling. Taste good.
Authenticity. So.
Oh wow! How authentic the pizza is, yeah.
Yeah, like what the crust is like. Yeah.
So what is your reference model? Is it the Dr. Oetker frozen pizza or?
Italian pizza.
Yeah, which one?
Just generally how Italians make the pizza base.
Yeah, but this depends, right? I have fought in Napoli with they tried to put me potato on the pizza. Yeah, I didn't want that, and then I had to explain my mom like, no potato. I know I'm German, but this is too much stereotyping here. And they were like, no, this belongs on the pizza. And so my mom had to translate. Luckily, she's fluent in Italian. Yeah, so but it was problematic for me as a child. So this is not my reference. But you say the more Italian, the better.
The base, so like it's crusty on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's quite thin.
Okay, so thin base and crusty on the outside. And now here we are talking already technical specifications, so I'm pretty impressed that I have that. So as good as it was maybe last time, yeah. So this is where the where I have the most the closest to what you're saying. Any other refinement? So we have crustiness, thin. Is it always thin? Yes. Okay, so we have some yes. Does nobody like the kind of thick crust and the American style?
Americans.
Oh, okay. I have said the wrong terms. Okay, nobody likes the thick pizza.
Robert, you just said it though. Everything you mentioned right now is preference, not really quality, though, in my opinion. I mean, when you say tastes good, that's quality. It either tastes like garbage or it tastes like pizza. But when you're talking about thin crust, fat crust, and stuff like that, that's not to do with preference. It's also quality.
Taste is a web reference.
No, some people like their pizza really big. Some people like it thin crusted. That's just preference.
Okay. So what is quality then preference?
The quality of the products, the good tomato sauce, good cheese.
Exactly.
That is not industrial
It's
things,
not
just
frozen.
maybe some homemade tomato sauce, or some real cheese from the producer, just from your town or something like that. Not things that take produce maybe 2,000 pizza per hour.
Yes, okay, I like that. So this was very good. So here we had further quantifications actually, like fresh tomatoes, fresh cheese, not like one that has been pre-processed 20 times, had to just be grindable very easily. Yeah. So, but here we are already talking about criteria. Yeah. So you're bringing already the pizza down. And I did like your plea. Like, what are we talking about here? Actually, yeah. The point is, we are talking here about different pizzas, right? So in the American pizza place, if you get the thin one that you're describing, yeah, or that I described, yeah, from my experience in South Italy, yeah, people would be slightly upset. Yeah, there's no cheese in the crust. What's going on here? Yeah, and you would know, but it's crusty, it's tasty, but this is not what I ordered. Yeah. So, but again, this is an important thing to notice here. Yeah. In companies, it's not that easy to actually step away and understand this. Yeah. Well, once you play with 9,000 groups and 14,000 for environmental sustainability is another wonderful standard. Yeah. So those are normally the processes that you just have as site quality tracking. Yeah. But this is what it comes down to, right? So yeah, and then of course I forgot the last part. So you may even associate with the pizza how it's actually being delivered, right? This is maybe the person that brings you the pizza in a smooth way, without negotiate. Well, no delayed pizza, or the pizza is still warm, and so forth. Yeah. Okay. Now with this, and we noticed here already, yeah, perspectives and preferences. The question is even if this is quality. Yeah, so some are just in our mind. So it doesn't become quality before we actually specify it that way, right? Before we write it down. This is when quality becomes a reality. Yeah. So, but for that you have to ask yourself as well, who is actually our customer? So anyone who supplies something to someone else. We have a quality chain. This is important to recognize. We had that so well explained with the tomatoes, the freshness of the tomatoes and the cheese. Yeah, do you just want prefabricated stuff that you can buy in large quantities, or do you want the nice stuff? Maybe locally sourced cheeses, yeah, to give it a little bit authentic flavor. Yeah, that was kind of mentioned. Yeah, then you have to look as well at the supply chain and kind of look that the quality standards are met in the products that you are actually using for the production, right? If it breaks, we all get down on it, well, let it down. So in other words, the weakest part as well, yeah, the lowest quality in your kind of setup dictates the overall quality. Yeah, this is important to recognize as well. So yeah, there are some industries that are particularly bad for that. Yeah. Quick solutions of saving money. Let's put something cheaper in there, yeah, and then the whole system actually doesn't stand up to the quality that was defined in the first place. And of course, here are the customer documents. They are near enough. Sorry, your documents are not in order. Yeah, so this is another wonderful one. Most customers where you see changes. This could be as simple as our pizza example. Somebody wants an American pizza but just talks about the pizza. This takes quite some time to come into terms that they are expecting a different pizza from what we are talking about. Yeah, so it can be as simple as that. Yeah. So quality has to be built in from the start. It cannot be inspected at the end. Having said that, ensuring quality is a two-way process. Supplier meets customer requirements, but customer makes the supplier's job as easy as possible, of course. Yeah, so this works both ways. If you have like very awkward quality requirements that are kind of unworkable for suppliers, you normally walk against a brick wall. Yeah. Without the process mistakes, yeah?
I just want to ask a question about your first point. You said quality has to be built from the start, it cannot be inspected at the end.
Yeah, so you know, with the pizza, if you want a thin crust, you cannot work with an American base, right? Because it would be too thick, right?
The reason why I brought you back was, I don't know if you read this Harvard review about Tamuku when they started, when they just newly started. Basically, they were still building things the way they used to build it. But then the now CEO went to the assembly line and picked up what they were building and then just dismantled it in front of them and said he doesn't want that. So it's like he brought in the quality control after production and then told them to start all over again.
Yeah, but this is fine. So you know, you wouldn't really expect the quality from the product yet. So this is just recognizing what needs changing, right? But if he believes that the product would already achieve his invisible quality criteria, the assembly line never had a chance, right? So in other words, once you know they understand what's required, then you can modify the different parts that kind of make your product up, or you know, look at using different materials to actually achieve the quality, right? This is already talking about like product quality, but nonetheless, a very good example. Yeah. Yeah. So as a project manager, you should be as well furious if somebody comes along with unquantified quality criteria, if you're being held accountable to something that wasn't actually agreed at the beginning. Yeah. And last one, without a process, mistakes are inevitable. Yeah. So I mean, it's literally your example, right? Without being aware that there are hidden quality criteria, you have no chance. You are just giving it a clean shot, and probably you will have mistakes. I should add as well that sometimes you actually in new products you set the process up to do fail. So you don't know yet what the quality is, and you just do a product, you test it, and see if it actually does the purpose. And you do it so many times so that you actually have an empiri on it. So you see that with SpaceX, Yeah, they design rockets, they launch them, they try to land them again, crash, and then like, okay, no problem, we have now a lot of data that we can work on how to improve it. Yeah? So there's as well prototyping processes that can be used to actually achieve a quality level. Yeah? Now, quality in project management is as well that people have to want to produce quality. Yeah? If you don't have the buy-in, or you bring in subcontractors that are kind of paid by the hour and do kind of what they always do, then you have a huge job to do to actually arrive there. But they need to see that they are a direct link with the customer as well. So, particularly for project teams, the best thing you can do is actually put your team afterwards into the maintenance section. But normally this is not very popular with teams. Yeah, but Toyota does that. Yeah, Toyota does that actually. So they have a project team that kind of designs it. And they are part of the service support, manufacturing support team. And then in the end, they are the one kind of replying to complaints and maintenance requests. Yeah.
They have as well now the systems, if they have a failure, like for example for MAN or like KUKA, that at each workshop they have like a failure, and then they have a program, and then you can searching for like symptoms and getting from all the like workshops around the world actually the information.
And is this working well? Are they quite committed to keeping this?
I'm not sure if it's working well, but I think they do a lot of effort that it's going to work. Because if you have like Volkswagen or something like that, they have like millions of like workshops, and if they're connected, then actually after some time they can get everything into.
Yeah. So just to repeat the example, so in complicated products, where you have different teams working with their expertise on subparts or subsystems even, that kind of come together. They have tried to create a virtual network of the different workshops to kind of review a problem. But they are playing there against the empiry that we have in the paper. So virtual teams are very bad if it's a non-directive issue to them to actually search for potential solutions. So I would be curious to hear how they make it work, because in our research this is a very hard topic. So if people are not close by and they're not really associated with that project, then normally there's very little commitment, particularly if it gets complicated. This is normally where everybody runs away or has again procrastinated over that project and spends more time on another one. Yeah, but a very interesting example. Where was I? So this was kind of people want to have quality as well. So this means you have to as well kind of establish this maybe even as a culture, right? We have a look at that actually in our next session as well. Everyone needs as well a well-defined customer. Yeah, so if you can have like something like that, this is very useful. It becomes more complicated if you have like a complicated project, but again, the effort is worthwhile to actually come up with a customer. And so in construction, if you build like infrastructure, this becomes actually a tricky undertaking. Yeah? So here you can kind of work with a model customer or run it via your local communities, but again, this is maybe not necessarily pitching at who the users will be. Yeah? And then as well, the price of quality is continuous improvement, examine customer needs at all times and how they are meeting them across the company. So this is of course the idea behind it. Yeah. So quality processes move the emphasis from outputs to inputs. So with quality, you're no longer just focusing like, okay, how can we achieve the output, but you have to look actually, are the inputs good enough? Are we really contributing the input that is desirable to make it the best product possible? And when I say best, according to the quality, right? So, and then respectively is where the processes are actually interesting. So output-based systems are about detection, check and reject. They are wasteful. So here the questions are often then, have we done it properly, instead of can we do it properly? And the process transforms inputs into outputs. So many of them go into go basically in simultaneously. So it's as well the recognition that when you have reasonable inputs, then your part outputs are already a good indicator of hitting the quality. Yeah. Yeah, and detection is replaced by quality assurance because you have actually something that you can measure against, or at least you have parts that you can then assess against maybe performance, right? So the products are the outcome of an effective system. So again, this is kind of the final slide for me. If you define, monitor, and control inputs so as to meet the customer requirements, you should produce a satisfactory output every time. But it really shifts the emphasis. And I think I have, wait a minute, how much do I have? I have a few more on the total quality as well, but we have covered this already in a way. So the questions for you to arrive at this, to set it actually up. Are we capable of doing the job correctly? Have we done the job correctly? Do we continue to do the job correctly? And if there's evidence to show the answers are yes, then we do not need detection as well of fault. Yeah, right. Then we are not output oriented. So this is actually quite impressive then. Yeah. Okay, I want to leave it with that for today. Any questions? Okay, in the seminar we will have a look at design and quality and kind of as well challenging kind of hidden assumptions when we make quality judgments. Yeah, so I look forward to seeing you in the seminar sessions. If you can't do tonight 4 to 6 because you're going to the talk from Change Management, then please feel free to come on Friday between 2 and 4. We have the same session again. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.